Happy New Year to everyone. I cannot believe it's already 2022. Now, 2021 was a year of a lot of changes, twists and turns and transitions for me, career-wise, that is. And I pretty much went from being a free agent, flexible working hours, working from home as a consultant and a freelancer, to now running a team, going to the office more often, having meetings, meeting business partners and all that. So I've definitely had to make some changes in terms of how I present myself at work, to external parties, to the rest of the team, my choices in hair coloring, makeup, clothing. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of these styling changes are fun for me. It helps me to feel put together, ready for the day, puts me in the right mindset. It's like some people put on red lipstick and they're ready to go. That is their armor. It's pretty much the same for me when I choose to do a more pared down face. So my makeup is not a distraction to people that I'm working with or talking to. And, I choose to go with slightly more dressy, smart clothing choices, just so you look presentable, you look put together, and more importantly, it looks like business is good. I'm at that point in my life where I really, really want to focus on lesser things and better things. It's not necessarily about spending a lot less or, spending less to get lots more stuff. It's just being a bit more discerning with purchases, where to splurge, where to save. So as we approached 2022, I really made it a project to declutter, filter things down, and really identify key pieces or things that are worth investing in my opinion, and these are the ones. Because this is predominantly a beauty channel, I'm going to start with the beauty products first, and then those of you who are just totally not interested in the fashion stuff afterwards, feel free to click out. Of course, I would love it if you stay. Now, I would say these days you would be able to find pretty much everything you need in cheaper ranges. It's getting really, really good these days. So brands like The Ordinary, Inky List, all that. It takes a little bit of trial and error because some of the cheaper formulas can be either a little bit harsh or not packaged very well, so they may not last very well. But aside from that, you would be able to find things like hyaluronic acid serums, vitamin serums, all of that from the cheaper ranges, and you don't necessarily need to pay a few $100s a pop. Now, the first place to save on is hyaluronic acid serums. There are a lot of great hyaluronic acid products in drugstore ranges and cheaper ranges these days. There is absolutely zero reason to be spending a few $100s for a really, really premium brand. The thing you want to look out for are formulas that contain different hyaluronic acid molecules, so different sizes, smaller ones to penetrate a little bit deeper, and then the larger ones to stay on the surface as humectants and pull water in. A lot of the cheaper Asian brands are fantastic in this area, so things like REFILLABLE, AHC are the ones that you want to look into. When it comes to skincare gadgets, there are loads and loads of options on the market right now. The tool that I personally put my money in would be in red light therapy and in RF technology, radio frequency. The first thing you must remember is that none of these devices is going to be anywhere close to as strong as what you would get in a clinic or in a doctor's office. I would say they are better for prevention and just delaying signs of aging rather than correcting signs that are already obvious and there. Not all light devices are created equal. The strength, the frequency of the device really matters, and how it's designed to deliver the light into your skin really matters as well. If you're talking about those light therapy devices, handheld, that you move around your face, it's just not well designed. Frequencies are not right most of the time. The strength is not really there, and the way that it's designed and shaped actually means that you lose a lot of the light to the environment instead of going directly into the skin. One of the brands that has slightly stronger light devices would be Dr. Dennis Gross, and I do like the emphasis he places primarily on red light therapy. Now, if you've seen an older video that I did on blue light therapy and blue light in general, you would understand my concerns about using blue light devices unless you have a lot of acne issues or, bacterial infections that you need to take care of. In general, red light therapy is the one with the most scientific research behind it. It has shown the most benefits if it is delivered in the right frequency and at the right strength. The best red light brand that I've found to date is probably still Red Light Man. So you can just do a quick Google Red Light Man. They are a UK-based company. They ship their products worldwide. And they have just put a lot of research behind their devices, and the pricing is a lot better than a lot of these commercial brands that you will find here and there. Of course, the form factor is not going to be that nice. I do have a really, really strong red lamp that I kind of need to hold, and it helps with, muscle repair, tissue repair, skin repair, and that's really, really strong. They will give you very clear instructions about how often you're supposed to use it and what the duration should be. Now, with things like this, and this is meant for the décolletage, which is a very, very neglected area, you just turn it on, leave it on for 3 minutes or 14 minutes, depending on, what strength of treatment you want. It will always be weaker and more costly than buying a device from Red Light Man, but if ease of use is a thing for you, then just go with brands like Dr. Dennis Gross. RF or radio frequency devices, this is related to things like thermage, and it's really, really proven to kickstart your skin's collagen production process and rejuvenation self-repair processes. I have the Tripollar Stop X in the Rose edition. It is nowhere as close as what you would get from a doctor's office, let me just put that out there, but it is calibrated to heat and keep your skin at a specific temperature to just stimulate some rejuvenation. So you can use this device about 2 or 3 times a week. I usually do it maybe twice a week, 1 day or 2 days in between, and it takes about 2 or so months for you to see a little bit of a texture difference and in the tone and the smoothness. And I have been using this primarily around the cheekbone area and the cheek area, and I'm concentrating this along my jawline because I just want to retain this really sharp, tight and taut skin tone here. I do also have that small little tripolar for delicate areas around the eyes and the upper lip area, so I'll just go around the nasolabial lines, around here where I have a bit more texture, or I can see some fine lines starting to come in from just making expressions and dryness. And I have noticed a bit of difference around the texture here because this is really thin, really weak skin, and if you laugh a lot, if you make a lot of expressions, this is where you start to see crepiness, and it has really, really helped. But it took me close to 3 months to see some visible results. Now, if you're going to ask me about these electric devices like NuFace and Foreo, I have tried those for several months a couple of years back, and I would say save your money. There's just not a load of science behind that technology. Most, if not all, of the effects that you see are temporary. There isn't a lasting benefit to using it. If you're going to spend that money just for that temporary toning effect, go right ahead. But for that same money, you might as well get an RF device. Also, we spend so much money on Botox just to relax muscles. Why would I go for jaw Botox and then use NuFace and just tone up my muscles again? It just doesn't make sense because overactive muscles is what causes wrinkles. If you use your device and you love what it's doing for you, go right ahead. I'm just talking through some of the science behind it for people who might still be considering. Now, I only have 3 makeup investments to recommend. Ooh, shock! Primarily because these days it's so easy to find great options from cheaper brands. The formulas are really on point, the prices are on point. So, if you are going out to buy a face palette from Hourglass, you're buying it because it makes you happy and not because, anyone else is going to notice that you have Hourglass on your face. Having said that, there are a few things where I feel it's worth it to invest a little bit if you have the extra cash. The first of these would be a great foundation that's going to work with your skin, that's going to hydrate, give you some skincare, but also last and stay really good looking throughout the day. Now, the one that I have here and I've been really loving the past couple of months is the Peau Radiant Cream Foundation. Now, if you have oilier skin and you're looking for matte, long wear, waterproof foundations, I would say the drugstore is fantastic. But when it comes to slightly more sensitive, more mature, more textured, or drier skins, it may make sense to go a little bit higher and look for products that are just a little bit more forgiving and add a little bit more back into your skin. I have this in the shade 020, which is light medium ochre, and this leaves sort of satiny sheen on the skin. It's not going to look shiny, but it definitely glows. So if you want it matte, this is not for you. But for me, this is beautiful. It's a godsend because I often have to spend a whole day in air conditioning in the office, meeting after meeting after meeting, and at the end of the day I still want my makeup to look good up close when I'm talking to people, and this is one of those that adds the hydration back. My skin feels comfortable at the end of the day, but the makeup still stays fresh. So for me, this is 100% worth the money. The next one is a lip product, and it took me a while to discover these. They are not new, especially in the West. If you are in the US, they have been out for quite a while, I think. These are the Chanel Le Rouge Duo Ultra TENUE glosses. So these are the double-ended ones, and I have these in 3 colors. You know when I really love something that I buy it in a red, in nude, and in a darker, more vampy color. 47 Daring Red was the first shade I bought and the one that made me fall in love with the entire range. A few weeks ago, I put up a post on Instagram where I had a clip of myself wearing this really glossy lacquered red, and then I did this and rubbed my hand across my mouth and nothing came off, and everyone was like, holy moly. Now, this colored end is what you apply first, and it's almost like a standard matte liquid lipstick. It sets and makes sure it is 100% dry before you put this on. Now this end, you get a glossy, thick silicone, and it's not really an oil, so it doesn't break down the lip color beneath. It almost functions a little bit like a protective coat, besides making your lips look glossy and, you know, giving you some comfort. I find it almost serves like a barrier when you are eating food, because, you know, food is oily, but it doesn't immediately get to the base layer with this coat on, so, you know, it doesn't break it down very easily. The only times I've ever had this wear away a tiny bit in the center of my mouth was when I was eating fried chicken. So literally lips on chicken, rubbing in the oil. Otherwise, this has stayed intact. All you need to do is touch up a little bit of the gloss at the end of the meal. Looks good as new. The nude is what I have on today. This is 166 Timeless Beige, and this is just a perfect beige if you don't want deathly concealer lips. This is really a godsend for those days where I have back-to-back meetings and I want to look as good at the end of the day as I did at the start. Or if I'm going out for a smart lunch with a business partner and, you know, you don't want to leave lipstick marks all over your glasses or your cutlery and, you know, this horrible gap in the middle of your mouth after you eat. Last makeup recommendation, this is for those who appreciate a little bit of old-fashioned glamour. You want to bring your makeup out, you want to touch up your makeup, then I would say go with a luxury refillable lipstick. Now this is the one from Dior. It's really sleek. Obviously you can just keep buying refills in different shades and swapping them out. You can save a little bit of coin without skimping on the luxury. I think it's a lot less clutter, it's a lot less waste, it's much better for the environment, and you can still enjoy a little bit of luxury and have glamorous little lipstick to touch up when you're out. Now Hermes has refillable lipsticks as well, but I find the shade range is a little bit lacking compared to Dior, and the price point is about double of this, so this is what I would recommend.